My name is Philip Leonard Ocampo. I am an artist curator based here in Toronto, Canada. I co-run a gallery with 3 friends called Hearth, which is where we're sitting in right now. My studio is next door to it. When I make art in the studio, I'm very much so a painter. The works are very colorful, they're very graphic, and they oftentimes incorporate seemingly miscellaneous objects in strange riddle-like configurations. What appeals to me about amusement parks is how immersive they are and how spectacular they are. Thrill Seekers is an exhibition that really tries to tell the story about finding oneself in this strange place. So all of the works in the show sort of riff on a specific ride of a theme park or an amusement park. Viewfinders is a new work that is a Ferris wheel.
Okay, so the impulse of the work is to have a background that's of wheat pasted images. Yeah, so I've got this image that I took. I was actually waiting for the 21 Brimley bus from Kennedy Station. They call that the unicorn bus because it's like a myth, it never comes. I'm gonna be compositing and adding in tidbits of other images as well, but as a base image, I always like to start with one thing and see if I can make it compelling in its own way. So I'm prepping a canvas for a large painting that's going to incorporate found photographs and painted elements. I've never worked this big before, so it's kind of intimidating. I always joke that seeing work by me feels like starting a new TV show, but at episode 18, there's certainly a context happening, but if you're not privy to the very specific dialogue, there's still a lot to be enjoyed.
My work is a cross between magic and the nostalgic imaginary. How we remember time is really variable and kind of mysterious and non-linear. Nostalgia is a way to look critically back at the past and also to make sense of it as someone who is feeling the effects of it and the specter of it years after. I have always loved amusement parks since I was a little kid, and I still love them today. Last summer I went to Canada's Wonderland 6 times, which is a lot. I'm really interested in what these random configurations of things can say and what sort of miscellaneous symbols stand out to any one person looking at it as well. To the uninitiated eye, these symbols can look, kind of random, but peculiar enough to wonder why they're there. And I think picking apart these sorts of objects and symbols helps invite viewers into what I'm doing. I'm looking to position the amusement park as this place that's kind of one part utopic, but also another part dystopic. And I think this application of paint that I've done with the Ferris wheel, in addition to the more punk, wheat pasting inspired way of applying the paper, gives it a real I don't know, there's I keep coming back to the word grunginess, but I feel like it's pretty apt. I mean, it's so imperfect, the way that the lines don't register, and also the ways in which you can see, where the paint application in this thin wash is really, really shaky or imperfect. So yeah, I'm kind of leaning into all of these things. In this body of work, I'm trying to imagine the amusement park as this complicated arena where you could find yourself or find love, and I feel the rose is just a very straightforward and legible symbol for that journey of becoming. I think that sort of sight line of a Ferris wheel is really beautiful and it's cyclical, which also mirrors my interest in time and nostalgia. And the way that Ferris wheels gather many people also speaks to a reconnecting with my siblings. In a lot of ways, we are the viewfinders. We're trying to position ourselves in accordance to this strange, entertaining and beguiling and silly space. For me, the Ferris wheel and its separate pods are a way of people coming together and a unit moving in synchronicity. And I liked this ride as encompassing these two opposites. This really slow sweetness, but also its own unique thrill. I do think a lot about
the relationships I've been able to cultivate between like me and my older siblings. I'm the youngest of 5. And so in a lot of ways, the project and the presence of an amusement park, it also mirrors like a process of like finding each other again, which I think is really nice. I'm trying to envision the theme park as a site of becoming. So, you know, finding myself, finding others, finding love. Wow, paint dripped. Right there. But you know what? We're gonna leave it. That's part of it now. I actually kind of really like that little drip. Art happens sometimes, you know? The randomness, you know, the little moments, the peculiarities of things that stick out in the composition. If one of those objects can like put its hold on you in a way that, you know, asks you to think about, you know, your own process of becoming or your own story, that's all I can hope people take away. So it's about me and it's about the framework of amusement parks, but it's also about you. Oh, it's so satisfying to see it completed.